Hello, this is Amy.
And this is Beth,
And this is Shitpost Mortem.
a podcast where we overthink stupid ideas. Hello, welcome back to the pod.
So we had an update about one of our previous ideas.
So it turns out there's a YouTuber channel named blondihacks. I will try to link it in the description, but who actually from scratch made a miniature steam engine that works as a power generator that she then made extra stuff so that she could in fact charge her smartphone with it.
So it's
So
real, kind of.
I mean, it wasn't portable,
Understandable.
and it used kerosene instead of coal for heat.
Which is fine.
I mean, that wasn't really the important
Yeah,
part.
that wasn't
Anyway,
really
so I
important.
just think it's delightful that you can, in fact, charge your
real.
phone with a tiny steam engine.
Admittedly, pretty slowly.
Yeah, it didn't.
Again, understandable.
It certainly isn't an efficient way to do it,
yeah.
but maybe if it was the post-apocalypse, it would make sense or something. I don't know. You can
I mean,
you can think of a concept. Of course, maybe like a solar panel would also work, but
Yeah, but it's probably harder to repair, in a way.
well, it'd be harder to get parts for it, kind of.
Yeah.
If you have your own machine shop or
Yeah,
whatever, you
then
could just
you
make a
gotta
bunch
do
of
a lot.
tiny steam
Yeah,
engines,
that's
probably.
true.
Well, unless your tools need electricity, maybe.
That's true.
Well, I don't know.
It's a little bit of a
You had
circular
to
problem.
bootstrap stuff. But anyway, okay, yeah. Thanks. Anyway, thanks, Pastry,
For
a
letting us
listener,
know.
for letting us know.
Neat.
Okay, next idea: automated machine for kicking ass / chewing bubblegum.
Was this yours? I think this was
I think
yours.
this was mine. So there's a classic thing, a cool guy thing to say. I'm sure it's a quote from something specific, but I'm not sure what. Where it's like, I'm here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of
Ass.
bubblegum. Usually they say bubblegum, actually.
okay.
So anyway, I think it's vaguely funny. I mean, I guess it can imagine. I mean, okay, there probably are you can. It's pretty easy to imagine a machine that's basically just a thing that swings up and forward and could kick someone. It just has a boot on the end of an arm. or
Yeah,
something.
I think making an ass-kicking machine is not that hard as long as the person whose ass is getting kicked is cooperating.
Oh yeah, if they're actively trying to avoid it, it would be really hard because
Yeah.
then they would have to try to. It'd have to be a whole mobile robot that chases
Okay,
them
hear
around.
me out. Roomba that has an ass-kicking machine attached.
Well, we do have that old room
Yeah.
that we're not using anymore. Maybe something to consider.
Yeah. So it would make it way taller, I think, probably.
Actually, it would probably tip over.
It might tip over. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Roombas were not built for such things.
No, they're not supposed to build a moving tower on top of your Roomba. I
No.
don't think they intended that in the design.
Yeah, I will say we got a new Roomba. So my main complaint initially was that you have to get an app, but I will say it's pretty good actually. It's the new Roomba. It's pretty good.
It's a lot better at not eating our cables.
And not getting stuck, whatever. So they definitely did make it better.
It did. It's gotten stuck once after running it maybe 5 times, but the other one, the old one that we got refurbished back in maybe 2020, so it was already a few
Yeah.
years old, would get stuck multiple times most times we
Per
ran it.
run, yeah.
So
it's
this is
true.
it's
So
still
it's
a big
definitely an
improvement.
improvement. Hear me out. Okay, kicking ass and chewing bubble cum.
What? Sorry. Okay, so your bubble cum is cum you can blow bubbles.
Yeah, I think
with?
so.
Okay. Maybe I've heard claimed that you can change how someone's cum tastes by being you eat more pineapple or whatever.
Yeah, but how do you make it chewy?
Make them eat a bunch of xanthan gum. I don't know. Growing gum. I don't think that would work.
I feel like that might not. I don't know what that would do. But probably nothing that bad. But
I think most of that would get metabolized by your gut
Right.
microbiome
I mean,
or
yeah,
something.
probably. Now you may say, let us know if you have ever blown bubbles. You know?
Do you mean specifically with cum?
Yes.
Okay, just check it.
It's possible.
Yeah. I guess here's a question. Okay, so do you think there are machines that are simulate chewing to, I don't know, test the sturdiness
Like
of
a masticator,
yeah, sure.
mastication device.
Yeah. You can imagine a lot of our stupid ideas you can imagine a niche use for industrial testing, I
Yeah.
guess.
Like kicking ass. For industrial
Okay.
industrial ass kicking machine.
Okay, sorry, Amy, sorry, what context would that be useful for?
Okay, so let's say you have pants that have some sort of ass shielding. and you need to test their durability.
Okay, so you're also inventing a device that doesn't exist for this device that doesn't exist to be used to test.
Yes, that's right. That's
Okay.
correct. Yeah. I mean,
If you need a shield for your ass because people are kicking your ass that often, I think you have like maybe some kind of social or societal problem.
okay, so you're familiar with assless chaps, right?
I mean, I know
At least
about them. Yes,
conceptually,
I don't
right?
think I've ever actually. I'm not sure if I've seen them in person or not.
So what I'm proposing here is something. It has extra stuff on the ass.
Assful chat.
Assful chaps, yeah, something like that. You ever see an assful chap?
Yeah, a guy who's caked up.
Yeah.
Let us
know.
let us
Let
know.
us know if you've seen a guy who's kicked.
I have. Yeah, I guess also. I wonder how hard it would be to make a robot that can blow bubbles in bubblegum. Because I gotta be honest, not that I chew bubblegum much, but I've never been any good at actually getting it to blow a bubble. I never really
Yeah.
learned the technique, I guess.
The skills.
I also suck at stuffing my fingers and whistling.
Yeah. It's true.
It's skills where like I feel vaguely bad that I'm bad at them, but also like when does it actually matter in life? Not
But-
really ever.
You know what I can do?
Yeah, so we did bring some funny noise-making devices for this recording,
Yeah.
shock jock style. Well, they might use a soundboard.
And to
if
be
we're
fair,
being
we're
real.
using physical devices.
Yeah, we have a physical
These are
bike horn.
real.
Here's a physical slide whistle,
Yeah.
and
There
here's
you
a
go.
physical. This is a 3D printed ratchet, which
Oh, is that what that's called?
yeah, there's some different names. That's at least one of the things
You want
people
to
call
spin
it.
it for us? Yeah.
Yep.
We were watching Little Shop of Horrors.
There's a guy with one of these.
Who's a
inspi-
radio host who kind of makes a bunch of wacky noises, etc.
Yeah, it kind of inspired me.
We're like,
Oh yeah,
what if we
this is
made wacky
this is the
noises?
movie musical, just to clarify, not the Roger
Little
Corman
Shop
movie.
of Horrors (parentheses 1986). It's the one with Rick Moranis. It's pretty good.
yeah,
we're
it's good.
making my spouse watch it, and I will say, I enjoy it.
Yeah,
it's a fun movie.
yeah.
Also, the puppets in it are goated puppets. Really good puppetry in that movie.
Yeah, some
Very impressive.
some Muppet guys worked on the puppetry.
I mean, Frank Oz directed it.
yeah,
so-
yeah, and like you could see Brian Henson, Jim Henson's son,
yeah.
was in the puppeteer cast and stuff. Yeah,
Pretty cool.
and yeah, the music was written by Alan Menken and Howard Ashman, who also, among other things, wrote The Little Mermaid for Disney.
Yeah, which they did basically, like pretty shortly after.
Yeah.
Working on Little Shop.
Yep. There's some songs that are even kind of similar.
Yeah, there are. There's some similarities.
could
Not
kind-
excessively, but you can sort of see how
There's
their
like a
style
sort of
kind
continuing
evolved.
lineage in
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
All right, so I have our next idea here. Okay, so this is going to require a little bit of context. So there is a concept in some mythology that vampires like to count stuff, or not really that they like to count stuff, that they are compelled to count stuff.
Yeah, it's like arithmomania or
Yeah,
something like that. I forget exactly the word.
Right.
They're OCD.
Yeah, I mean, kind
Kind
of,
of.
right? And you may be saying, is that why the count from Sesame Street is like that? And I think the answer is like, yeah, partly. There's another pun there too, obviously, right?
I mean, because he counts. And he's
it's really
the
a
count.
pretty good concept for a Sesame Street character. They were kind of cooking with that.
It's true.
There's some stuff where you for example, scatter seeds on the floor and the vampire has to go fucking count them all. Of course, depending on the vampire, maybe they do it really fast. Well, yeah, you might scatter seeds on the floor to and make a vampire count them. Which we could definitely do because we have a lot of seeds about.
Yeah, we have pet birds. So guess what? Little
Little
birds.
birds.
Oh, they love to
Oh,
eat some
they
seeds.
love seeds.
That's like their favorite.
Yeah, they do.
They're
It's
so
true.
good at it too. It's crazy
do
how
super
fast they can
fast.
whole and eat a
Yeah,
seed.
they can eat and shell it in like one smooth motion super fast.
You can't even follow it with your human eyes. You're far too slow.
Yeah, I could
They're
never.
1 million years ahead of
Yeah,
you when
no,
it comes
it's
to
true.
holding and eating seeds.
They're so much better at eating seeds. It's
I
true.
know. I'm pretty decent at some stuff, but I can never live up to their seed eating ability.
So the concept is like, okay, a vampire's chasing you. You don't have any seeds to scatter on the floor. The idea is you jerk off.
You
really
make your
quick.
own seed
Yeah, you
to
spill
scatter.
your seed upon the floor, and the vampire has to do a sperm. That's
Okay.
my concept.
My concern is that the vampire might regard it sort of as a single mass.
That's
not
one-
as a countable noun.
One come.
Well, okay, see. Actually, wait, I think I hear some. It might be time for Best Linguistics
Oh my
Corner.
god.
A-E-U, Best Linguistics Corner. Basically, when it comes to nouns, this varies by language, obviously, but so English, you have singular, of course, like you have one squirrel. Plural, you have two squirrels. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Oh, wow, special guest, the Count. Fancy sick you here. Yeah, so, but there's also a category called mass nouns. which basically are, you could kind of think of as being not countable, or you kind of can't specify a number for them. Like, and there's a little bit of nuance here, because there's context where someone could say like one water, and they mean like one bottle of water,
One glass of water.
one glass of water. But there's kind of still this implied sort of counter unit, like, oh, this is how many glasses of water, this is how many cups of water.
Right.
But like, if you're talking about like how much water is in the ocean, you'd have to say like some number of gallons. You wouldn't say there's like 500 water in the ocean.
There's 1 billion water in the ocean.
Yeah.
Even more, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, also some languages, also not English really, but have a distinction in the noun forms used between singular, exactly 2 of a thing, and then 3 or more. It's called the dual.
So do they have like a special... what's the word for nouns? Like, it's like conjugation is to verbs is blank.
Declension.
Okay, declension.
Yeah. They'll have like a suffix or something.
You ever clenching on it? Never mind.
Awfully personal question. So the closest thing in English to give it as an example that I can think of is the distinction between like both and all.
Right, because both is for 2.
Both kind of, if you say, oh, there's both of them, it really implies there's exactly 2, right?
Shout out to both of our listeners.
That's right. Yeah. And then, one final one that's kind of fun is, I think some languages, I know Arabic's an example, has what's called the singulative, where basically the unmarked form of the noun is by default plural, and then you add something to make it singular.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so the example that people might be vaguely familiar with is the like the default form of the word for like a sort of spirit that stereotypically grants wishes or whatever in Arabic is like jinn.
Right.
The singulative is jinni.
Right, they added stuff.
Yeah, to make it singular.
Right, because a lot of the time people add stuff to make a plural.
Yes, I
Right.
think that's more common, yeah.
I see.
And then, there's some languages that don't really mark number generally. Like, it's not required at all, like Japanese.
So then if you want to specify a number, do you just have to say
Yeah.
there were however many of these?
Yeah, you could be like, I'm hanging out with my 2 friend, sort of.
Right.
If that makes sense. I mean, that sounds grammatically incorrect in English, because English does have mandatory, like, plural marking, but yeah. Okay.
That's been Beth's Linguistics Corner.
When you have CPRD like me, even everyday life can feel like a struggle. That's why my doctor told me about Quixivy, a brand new medication that may help you manage your symptoms. Ask your doctor about Quixivy today. Side effects may include nausea, skin purple, and velar, oral confusion, Pied-Piper syndrome, Kurosawa deficiency, vitamin D deficiency, hairline fractals, internal torment, fugue, assassination, guarding the sweet release of death.
So I think a question with vampire counting come of, like, can they see the individual sperms?
Right. Like, they might have superhuman vision. That seems...
They might.
Like, that sounds... I mean, honestly, the exact list of vampire powers is
super
like
inconsistent.
all over the place. Like, can this guy turn into a cloud of mist? Can he turn into a bunch of bats or just one bat? Can he command wolves? Can he change the weather, Really depends on the vampire. Can he go out in the sun and be mostly fine, or will he immediately fucking die,
You ever see the hopping vampires?
Oh, yeah, the Chinese ones. Yeah, apparently the look they have is like basically a sort of Hong Kong film industry invention. Like, they are like an existing monster in Chinese mythology, but them wearing this very specific, like, old school sort of like bureaucrat uniform and like the specific makeup style and stuff is
Super pale makeup.
Yeah.
And they have their arms out.
Yeah, and they like hop everywhere.
It's kind of at you. It's kind of
funny.
iconic.
It's kind of good.
I kind of like. You should look them up if you haven't.
Yeah, Chinese
seen them.
hopping vampires.
There's something to it.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, I would compare it to how like Frankenstein in people's mind is like a big green guy with a flat top and a bolt.
Right, and that's from the
and that's of course from the Universal.
Movie.
That's from the Universal movie. Like
in the book, he did not look like that.
I mean, recently there's the Guillermo del Toro Frankenstein, which seems, I haven't seen it yet. I want to see it.
Seems more based on the book,
Yeah,
right?
basically in the book, he's kind of a freaky looking pale guy with like long dark hair and like weird scary yellow eyes, which I think we all know some people would be horny
I
for.
was going to say, if you're a freaky looking pale guy with long dark hair and yellow eyes, let us know.
That's right. Any Frankensteins listening? I'm so sorry. I know you're not, that's not the right term.
It's kind of offensive, Beth. You can't call them Frankensteins.
I'm sorry. Because of Luke. Hey, what if they made Frankenstein but a girl? You're thinking about that?
They should make a sequel or something like that.
Yeah.
Isn't he in the book? Isn't he super mad that the doctor doesn't want to do that?
It's actually, the doctor fucks it way worse.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
the monster was mad for, like, a good reason.
Yeah.
Dr. Frankenstein, basically, he finishes fucking building a mate for
okay.
the monster. And the monster is like, I'll fuck off and leave all the humans alone if you just
And
give me
then,
this.
and then he's like,
And then he
never mind.
He looks at her, and right before actually, like, sort of bringing her to life, he's like, actually, never mind, I'm just going to destroy her. And I think the monster is there and sees him doing that and stuff. So,
Okay.
like, I get why he was
yeah, no,
mad.
that's pretty bad. Yeah.
Frankly, in that book, most of this bad stuff that happens to Victor Frankenstein is his own fucking fault.
Yeah, well, it's fair.
Fair. I mean, maybe that's kind of the point, I guess.
Yeah. All right, our next idea. What if a computer had boobs?
So just, you're just your desktop. You can reach out and...
Of course.
Sorry, I had to get the clown horn.
Of course. Now you may question, is this necessary? But I'll try to convince you a little bit. So first off, consider Booba mousepad. These are quite popular. I don't know if you've heard about them. It's a mouse pad. Often it's like an anime girl or something, and guess what? She's got booba, and the mouse pad, again, is raised in those spots. It's a three-dimensional
It's
sort
like
of.
padded.
Yeah.
My understanding is it's actually not that good for ergonomics because there's a risk of...
That's not the point.
If you have like a wrist rest when using a mouse, it can actually put like pressure.
Right. Yeah. Well, okay. I don't think ergonomics is the point.
I know that I understand ergonomics is not why people are getting these things. Yes.
And I believe there's variants.
There's butt ones. I know I've seen
Yeah,
butt
exactly.
ones.
There's butt ones. I have to imagine that you can buy like some mouse pad of a furry mouse pad.
Yeah.
That has a giant ass.
Okay. What about...
I have to assume that this
Okay,
exists.
Giant balls.
Giant balls. Tanuki mouse pad. That's actually.
I actually haven't seen
I
that.
haven't seen that, but
I
it
mean,
might.
I haven't
it may
gone,
well exist.
I haven't
looked.
gone looking
Yeah,
for
I
it,
haven't
so
looked.
that's not to say it doesn't exist. You know what? Actually, at this time, maybe don't let us know.
Yeah, it's fine. You don't have to tell it.
I'm just gonna imagine that. I'm just gonna assume it exists. It's fine. I don't need to see it.
Don't even. Yeah.
I've accidentally seen enough hyper furry art back when I was on the website co-host. Oh yeah, earlier today I got a comment on a YouTube video with like no views that I uploaded years ago. There was just a guy saying, "This sucks."
Like, dude, why?
How did you even find this
Yeah.
video, my guy? It had like 10 views. It's a mystery. Also, why are some people on the internet like that? Why?
Good question.
Just just popping in to leave a comment saying, "Hey, you suck. You should feel bad about yourself," and just leaving.
Yeah. No. I mean,
Why?
it's
Why are you like that, my guy?
You know
That
what
sucks.
happens when I hear stuff like that?
Did you mean to go the other way?
Yeah, I meant to go the other way. God damn it. Sorry.
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
You got to think about how the pitch works.
Right.
makes
No,
it the
that maybe I'll edit that out.
Yeah. Okay. No,
Okay.
I think it was funny.
It's
though.
funny. Okay. It was funny.
Anyway.
Okay, now people are gonna think I like getting mean comments. It's not what I was trying to say.
I saw what was going to happen when you reached it.
Oh, you let me do it.
I didn't let you. I didn't get a chance to stop you, Amy. Did you want me to grab it?
No,
out of your
okay,
hands?
that's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
I thought maybe you'd figure it out.
I will say, I think I have seen some art online that's like a computer with boobs.
Probably.
Let us know. No, you don't have to let us know. It's fine.
Let us know. If
I'm
your
pretty
computer
sure
with
that
boobs- is that what you're
exists.
gonna say?
Yeah, more or less.
Anyway, okay. So next up.
Well, actually, speaking of,
Oh yeah, so that was correct this time.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I came up with a brand new word. Some people might say it's unnecessary. Well, look, a guesstimate is a word, and guess and estimate both already
I
existed.
guesstimate is such an unnecessary word, right?
I mean, doesn't it mean the same thing as estimate? Isn't that what estimate already meant?
Yeah.
Didn't that already imply imprecision? and
I
that
guess it's implying
the best
even
effort?
more imprecision. But
Yeah, I guess it's just a matter of
Yeah,
degree.
maybe.
But anyway, my cool new word, limpotent. That's like limp plus impotent.
Limpotent.
Yeah. Anyway, we don't have too much to say about it. I just wanted to let everyone know.
Yeah, we just wanted people.
I have
here.
gotten some pushback on people who are like, I don't see why this is necessary when we have the words limp and impotent.
So that's a portmanteau, is that right?
yeah, which is basically when you make a new word by putting two words together. There's various subtypes. I don't remember all the names, but I'm just gonna say one of my least favorite portmanteaus of all time, just aesthetically, is the word phablet, phone/tablet. That's spelled with a PH.
Oh yes,
I
there
just-
was a period where that was.
They've stopped. Most people have stopped saying it now.
I think it's partly because phones keep getting bigger.
Yeah, I think what used to be considered a phablet is just considered like a large phone now.
Yeah,
maybe.
that's what I'm saying. We also have folding phones and stuff that kind of further complicates the kind of phone tablet divide a little bit.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, but Oh yeah, I ended up leaving a Discord server because someone was being an asshole because I was like, I have a large phone, and they were. I
They
can't
were, like,
believe what
so
an asshole they
weird.
were about it. They were so weird. They were like, it's your fault that phones are too big now, basically. Which I'm like, okay, that's an insane thing to say. I'm one person. I bought one phone. What are you talking about? Like, I'm sorry the market moved in a direction that you didn't like. I guess. Why are you blaming me for this? Yeah. And they like seem to like sometimes people on the internet almost have this moral outrage about things that to me have nothing to do with, morality. Like you're a bad person if your phone is over this diagonal measurement. Like what are you talking about?
What do you mean?
I don't get it.
But going from phones to keyboards, we have an idea from a listener, Zack. Thank you, Zack. You know who you are.
I sure hope he does.
So the idea is a little mini keyboard that has Control, C, X, and V, and that's it.
So you can only copy, paste, and cut.
Yeah. What else
I guess.
do you need?
Well, I guess technically you can type some
That's
three
true.
letters, but it's not very useful letters for typing any kind of coherent message.
And of course, this is everything a programmer needs.
That's right. And of course, an internet connection. They got to be able to navigate.
of course.
Wait, no. How do you navigate to Stack Overflow?
Oh shit, that's
you can't
true.
type it in.
Okay, do you think there's a way to get to Stack Overflow just by like, okay, let's say you can search CX or V, because let's assume you have access to a mouse, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is just about the keyboard, I think, so that seems fair.
Right, so you could go to like Wikipedia or something and then copy letters from there,
Okay,
right?
unfortunately, allowing the mouse has made me realize there's a much more boring answer. You just have an on-screen keyboard you click on.
Oh, no, that's
boring.
boring.
That kind of ruins the
That's
idea,
boring. No. Also, okay, I will say, okay, the Steam Deck has the world's worst on-screen.
Yeah, like I like my Steam Deck a lot for the most part, but that keyboard is so
I don't know what
bad.
they were thinking with that keyboard. Like, you have an external keyboard partly because the on-screen one is just so bad.
Also, some stuff seems to break it so that the shortcut that's supposed to pull it up in certain games
Oh, yeah,
doesn't.
sometimes it doesn't work, right?
I was playing modded Minecraft on a server with some friends, and like, let me tell you, modded Minecraft is keybind hell because this is a mod pack. It's one in a series called All the Mods. Let me tell you.
They weren't kidding.
They weren't fucking kidding. There are literally about 500 mods in there. And guess what? They all fucking want to use the G key on your keyboard to do bind to something.
G specifically.
For some reason, G specifically by default has like
Interesting.
6 different things that it does, some of which interfere with each other, so
Yeah.
some of them don't work. Yeah.
Fun. I will say, though, it actually runs really well on the Steam Deck.
Yeah, I actually couldn't get it to fucking run on my older Surface laptop, which is funny. I got All the Mods 9 to run fine in there, but All the Mods 10 was just, I guess, a
Step too far.
Yeah, apparently. But yeah, I was like, oh wait, it actually runs the frame rate is better and it doesn't keep like dying.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it actually runs pretty good on this.
I
I
think
think it was a little bit of work to get it set up, but
I think it's
pretty good now.
I think it's probably a GPU bound thing. That's my guess.
Yeah, and for sure,
Because
the
that-
Steam Deck has a better GPU than that
That laptop
right?
probably has an iGPU, some kind of
Oh, yeah.
like mediocre iGPU.
It probably has a questionable Intel
Yeah.
integrated GPU. or
Almost
something,
certainly.
Yeah.
Knowing
Probably.
knowing Microsoft, like
Seems-
yeah, that seems plausible.
likely.
And I'm pretty sure, like I got this
Years ago, right?
Yeah.
It's not new.
and it was like mostly for like this was kind of during the pandemic era, so it was mostly for like doing Zoom calls
right.
and
Web browsing,
like
that kind of stuff.
playing some games that weren't that hard to run and like writing stuff in Google Docs. So it didn't need to be powerful.
Yeah, we're recording this podcast on my Dell XPS Tower Special Edition that I bought years ago. Though I have swapped out a bunch of parts now. So
Yeah, but you bought this a really long time ago, I feel like.
yeah, it was
like
probably
2018, maybe.
It was probably like 2018. Yeah, it's kind of like I said though. I did swap a lot of parts.
Yeah.
However, the new GPU in it, which you can see right there, Beth, it's gigabyte. It's got RGB.
Yeah, I see that.
It's RTX.
That's-
Wow,
that's so
gaming.
that's so
Hashtag gaming.
Whoa, gaming.
That's how you know I'm a gamer.
Whoa.
I have to keep the case open because otherwise the GPU and so the other bits don't cool quite right.
Amy, have you considered getting a different case?
Yeah, I should probably get a different.
That
case.
kind of seems like the actual solution. Well,
Yeah,
I probably say this because like
that's fair.
there's visibly a fair amount of dust in the case because it could just fall into the open
well.
case. I mean, it's
I
not
mean,
the
they
end of
get
the
a
world.
lot of dust in it.
Oh, I mean,
anyway,
theoretically sealed ones, if there's a fan running, also will get a bunch of dust,
Yeah.
to be fair.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we have like a blower. I guess you could
Yeah,
use.
I should
That might
probably
not be a
blow
bad
this
idea.
computer. And yeah, like we were talking about earlier, computer with boobs. What if you blew a computer with boobs? Let us
Whoa.
know what you think.
We're trying to this one we're catering to the monster and robot fuckers, I guess.
And just so everyone knows, in case you're wondering, I would fuck the fish guy from Shape of Water if anyone wanted to know.
Yes, Amy, thanks for volunteering that.
Yeah. Something else that crowd, I think, plausibly could like. Our next idea.
Yeah.
It's a plushie with a knife. And to be clear, we don't mean a plush knife. We mean...
I'm sure you can get those.
Yeah.
No, we mean a real knife.
I want it as a real knife.
Permanently attached. So you're in bed hugging your stuffed animal, and then you just fucking cut yourself.
Yeah.
I think it's funny, the extreme contrast between, like, most of this guy is nice and soft and plush, and then there's also just a fucking metal knife that can cut you.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's a word for this, but I think there's something to be said for the contrast between sort of softness, cuteness, and then a knife.
I mean, like, there's so many, like, stickers and stuff, like, you can buy online that's, like, a cute little bird holding a knife or whatever.
I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. There's something to it. Like, that's what the people are demanding.
I mean, I feel like there's a sort of, like, maybe millennial or Gen Z kind of culture aesthetic, whatever you want to call it, that's, like, everyone is a rabid raccoon or, like, a small bird with, like, a crow holding a knife or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's like, OMG, at me.
Haha, it me. That's what they said.
Yeah. I do think it has something to do with a kind of nihilism in younger generations, maybe, which, I mean...
kind of understandable.
The world's pretty fucked, I get it. We try not to talk about that stuff in this podcast because this is meant to be fun.
We want it to be fun. But guess what? Shit's fucked.
Shit is pretty fucked.
That's true. My very brief summary of it.
Yeah, your news update for today is shit's fucked.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's true. Anyway, so... and unironically, okay, if you would buy a plushie with an actual real knife attached to it, do actually tell me. I am genuinely curious that's what people would buy.
A lot of the time when we say to tell us, we don't really care if you
it's mostly a joke, but this time I actually want to know.
I do feel like there's a type of, like, unhinged queer who would actually be really into this idea. Maybe.
Yeah, I think so. I think there might be. I'd buy it.
Or alternately, there might be a type of unhinged, like, queer furry who's like, I am a plushie with a knife.
Yeah. I mean, that's very possible.
I
don't doubt that.
I know there's like pool toy plushies. Pool toy furries. I misspoke. I assume there are like plushie furries that would make sense.
I would assume so.
Oh, that reminds me.
Oh, actually, yeah, we were talking about this. Actually, is pool toys and knives maybe not a good combination? We were talking about this.
Yeah.
Shitpost Mortem is brought to you by the Lyle and Myra Breckenridge Foundation, re-examining masculinity in the new age of American media. Learn more at myrabreckenridge.com.
And by
the Muppet Fellatio Foundation, who believes that all people deserve to get the good suck from a puppet.
Okay, next idea. So this came up. So, in case listeners don't know, a little bit of background. Omegaverse.
I gotta be honest, I suspect a lot of our listeners do know.
Okay,
but
well...
you should explain it.
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure Zack, who said the keyboard idea earlier, at one point was saying he didn't know what that was.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Anyway, not to call him out. Anyway, he's relatively normal for a guy who works on N64 randomizers for fun, I would say. So Omegaverse, basically, a brief summary, it came out of kind of fan fiction / erotica, especially centered around werewolves. I think the Teen Wolf fandom was a big initial thing. It's basically based on the discredited pseudoscience idea that wolves have like alpha wolves and beta wolves, and that they have this like strict hierarchy. The study that thought that, it turned out basically they were studying wolves in like captivity that were not at all representative,
who were not behaving
like they do in the wild. And also it turns out a lot of time people, when they were observing groups of wolves and they were like, oh, these ones are the leaders, a lot of time it was a family and those were the parents. So it's not at all that dynamic is like basically the whole alpha male thing, at least when it comes to like biology, has like basically no basis.
Okay, what about Sigma males? Are they real?
Yeah, they're men who work at a company called Sigma. Anyway, so basically the idea is there's some people who are omegas who like go into heat, and then originally I think it was mostly like gay, like man on man stuff, but now they're straight Omegaverse, which seems kind of pointless because I'm like, you could already get women pregnant. Like,
wait, really?
Some of them, yeah. Believe it or not. But yeah, basically, at least I think a lot of the original stuff is basically like, hey, you can fuck this submissive twink in the butt, and then he gets a boy pregnant.
Wow.
Something like that. and there's this idea of like, oh, they go have a specific period where they go into heat. So the idea is trying to simulate that with like a hormone regimen over time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, to be honest, I don't actually.
I think people might actually be into that.
No, I know. I realize that.
Okay, yeah.
Also, I'm like a little concerned about how it would be for your long-term health. I don't really know.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that, like, is there actually just I don't think there is a hormone you can just give to people that makes them horny but doesn't do anything else, right?
Probably not. I feel like most hormones do other stuff.
I'm pretty sure all the major sex hormones have several effects, and like a lot of them are just like you know, if it's a cis guy who wants to do this, like you give him estrogen, it's not gonna make necessarily. It's probably not gonna make him hornier.
Probably gonna make him less horny.
Yeah, and if you take like I don't know a cis woman and you give her testosterone, it. I mean,
it might.
Maybe.
I'm not sure.
It seems to, honestly, people's response to testosterone and horniness, I've heard a lot of variable things about that.
Some of the progesterone boofers say it makes them horny, but I feel like maybe it's the boofing that makes them horny.
Honestly, people claim a bunch of stuff about, like, some trans femmes I know claim a bunch of stuff about effects, like, sort of short-term drug-like, like recreational drug-like effects of hormones, and
I have never experienced.
I can't say I've ever experienced that.
Yeah.
I do.
Your mileage may differ.
Maybe it's more of a thing if you do injections or something. Maybe it's like mostly a placebo effect thing.
That's a little bit what I think, if I'm being honest.
I generally don't want.
But I don't want to totally.
I don't want to get in an argument about people, and I don't want
to.
Like,
I don't care enough to get into an argument.
People. But if you're like, I take my hormones and I felt a feeling of euphoria, so it's like a drug. I'm like, I think you just like taking your hormones.
Yeah.
Maybe, I guess. I don't know. That seems hard to separate.
It does seem hard to separate, though. So it's kind of hard to say. But our next idea is the Jondom.
Wait, sorry. I just realized there's a shorter way I could have explained.
Oh yeah. What?
Okay, so if you've seen the Star Trek the original series, it's like when Spock goes into Ponfar. Okay, sorry. Yeah, next idea.
Okay, the Jondom.
Yeah.
Of course. As you know, people have kind of generalized adding J to the start of stuff to mean like...
Well, replacing the consonant.
Sorry, yeah, you're right. So obviously jorts are kind of like...
Jean shorts.
The canonical example of that.
I think that's
the one that comes to
I think
mind.
That's probably where it's mostly started.
Yeah. And then you have a jacket, which is a jean jacket. No, I'm
Okay, jote, I could believe maybe as a word. I don't know if people
jote. Yeah, they might.
A jean coat. Although, of course, I feel like jean jacket's already a common existing phrase. Or
yeah.
Like denim jacket.
It's true. Okay, so the Jondom, of course, is a jean condom.
Made of denim.
You know, textured for her pleasure.
Maybe it's got some rivets in it like jeans do, you know?
God. Do you think they make condoms with rivets?
No.
No. Yeah, probably
no,
not.
why would they make that? Also, like, I don't think I've ever seen rivets in plastic.
Well, yeah, that's true. I did discuss this jean condom idea, this Jondom, with people who were pretty much universally like, I think that would feel horrible.
I mean, yeah.
It's a little scratchy, maybe. That's maybe not so good.
I mean, it really depends on the type. I mean, denim texture actually varies wildly, to be fair. But if it's like the kind of very stiff, durable jeans that have a kind of rough texture until they've been through the washing machine like 20 times or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I think there are some kinds of expensive jeans where literally people will pay someone else to break them in for them.
Yeah.
It's like a business. If it's something like that, then like, yeah, no, I don't think that would feel very nice.
Can you be a professional jeans wearer?
I'll have to do some research.
Like, I guess you'd might be multitasking.
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is, you can probably only wear one pair of jeans at once. You know,
try me.
Maybe I'm just a coward. But yeah, I might actually look into this. I'm only kind of vaguely aware of that being a thing. To be honest with you, I don't think I've ever bought any clothing that cost enough that I would also be willing to separately pay someone to also break it in for me or whatever. Yeah. Okay, the next one is Amy's. It's going to require some context.
Okay, so the idea is playing the San Jose Strut whenever you come. And you may say, what the fuck is the San Jose Strut?
That was my response, yeah.
That was Beth's response. It's the jingle the New York Times crossword app plays when you solve a puzzle.
Yeah, it's like do 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 do.
Yeah, correct. So yeah, the idea is just playing that when you come. Mm-hmm. Would this induce sort of like a Pavlovian response?
Okay. Actually, I have an alternate
Possibly.
suggestion that I think might be easier to explain to
Yeah?
people, but I feel like it's a similar vibe. The like puzzle solve jingle from Zelda games.
Oh, you know what? That is a little. Probably more people are familiar with that.
At least if you say the puzzles, like
Yeah.
the Zelda
Yeah,
puzzle
it's
solve
definitely
jingle, I think more people
briefer.
are going to have the right
true.
thing come to mind.
Well, but the funny thing about the other idea, and I will say, I don't actually do New York Times crossword stuff anymore. I've switched over to Puzzmo.
Because
But
the New York Times
kind of
sucks.
sucks in some ways. We don't have to get into that. I think I was like, well, could it condition someone to come whenever they finish the crossword?
I feel like you might be overestimating.
We're making the
how much-
world's greatest crossword player.
Amy, I think you might be overestimating how much you can easily Pavlovian
Well,
train humans.
yeah, okay.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong. It's not like I've tried.
Yeah.
I know some people who are like who
are
make a lot of
horny about
jokes
it.
about clicker training them or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, honestly, in my experience, like even Pavlovian training an animal is not as easy as some people would like to make it out to be.
That's fair. I will say I'm kind of a crossword enjoyer, but not like that. Not in that manner.
Yeah, you don't get off from them. You're
No,
saying?
I don't.
Yeah.
I will say the Puzzmo crossword has certain words they love that that the New York Times probably wouldn't allow.
Oh yeah, because the New York Times audience, I think there's a lot of people.
There's a lot of like grumpy old people. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So if they put in really new slang or sort of like queer terminology, the old people would get mad at them. Whereas Puzzmo doesn't have this issue. So Puzzmo, a word Puzzmo crosswords love is arrow. That's, to be clear, ARO, as in a romantic. They love that word.
Do they do ace too for asexual? I mean, there's other ways you could do ace, I guess, though. It doesn't have
No,
to be the asexual
because
meaning.
I think specifically a reason they like arrow, because you know how crosswords love they also love O-R-E.
Oh, it's because
Oreo?
it's got two. It's got
Yeah, it's
two
because
useful
it's
vowels.
just useful in crosswords.
And R is also relatively easy to use. I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that
so
makes sense.
I think that's why they like it so much.
Yeah, I remember reading that Oreo is like the most common word.
I
in
see it
crosswords.
all the time. It's super popular.
It gives you so many vowels to work with.
Hydrox alternative. 4 letters. Wow, what could it be?
Wow.
Oh yeah, they're introducing sugar-free Oreos in the United States apparently.
Supposedly they taste a lot like the normal ones.
However, important note: if you eat too many, you will shit yourself.
I was wondering that.
Yes.
I remember those sugar-free gummy bears that famously made people shit
Yes.
themselves.
At least my understanding is, if you eat too many sugar-free Oreos, you might shit yourself.
Yeah, a lot of
It's a possibility.
yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of like artificial sweeteners. If you eat more than a certain amount, you shit yourself.
That's just how it is.
Yeah.
That's how it is sometimes.
All right. So okay, the next.
And maybe the last.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're coming up in 40 minutes. Yeah. Okay. Making up a new vowel.
A
Okay.
listener requested we discuss this.
Okay, so this is kind of getting into you know where.
That's Linguistics Corner.
Yeah, that's it.
Again?
I guess there's 2 in this episode. We weren't actually planning that.
That's fine, though.
Yeah. Best Linguistics Corner. Anyway, so making up a new vowel. Yeah, basically, for context. Okay, so vowels exist in sort of what you can think of as a vowel space defined by 2 or 3 parameters. Like, and I say 2, I'll get to why I say 2 or 3. Okay, so basically, it's kind of convenient that the way you articulate vowels actually corresponds pretty intuitively to the first and second formant, which
You want to explain what those are?
yeah, basically. So if you have a sound happening in a tube, or I say a sound, like if you have like a sound that has a range of frequencies in it, basically the frequencies that correspond nicely to sort of integer multiples of the tube length. It's slightly more complicated than integer multiples. Sometimes it's integer into half.
Yeah.
It depends on if the tube functions as having an open or closed end. If you know about like string vibration, it's like having a fixed node or a non-fixed node. It's exactly the same dynamic. But anyway, yeah. So basically, it will some frequencies will be resonant and will effectively get amplified because the waves will kind of overlap themselves in a way that causes constructive interference, and then other frequencies will experience destructive interference. So basically the shape of your mouth when you say a vowel is creating conditions to magnify specific formants or to sort of move where the formant peaks are in frequency. So generally vowel space is charted on a sort of rectangle, or sometimes it's more of a trapezoid that gets narrower towards the bottom. But like so
A zoid.
Isn't that like an anime or something?
I have no idea.
Yeah. Anyway, there's so this old anime. I've heard the name. I know Chobits is a thing that exists. Can
What
I tell
is
you
it?
anything?
No
I
one
think
knows.
There's robots. I think there might be some kind of robot
do
girls.
They have boobs?
I mean, it's
Probably.
Do anime girls have boobs? There's a decent chance.
Sometimes.
Could be. Yeah. So basically, height is one parameter. I think that corresponds to like F1. I think, and so for example, the high vowels. There's other terminology that calls them close vowels because your tongue is close to the roof of your mouth, but I've always found that to be more confusing to discuss. So the high vowels are like, for example, E and oo are high, and like literally your tongue is near the roof of your mouth when you make those. Because they're vowels, it's not at the roof of your mouth, because if you have an actual closure, that's no longer counts. That's not a vowel anymore. Vowels have to be able to be continuous. Like you have to hold them like ah. Yeah, they're in the group of sounds called continuance, which I think is a pretty good name. It's pretty self-explanatory. Other examples, like fricatives, are also continuants, so are nasals. So you can go or and then basically the other parameter is frontness, how far front or back your tongue, the part of your tongue that's articulating the sound is. So like, for example, oo and o are back vowels, while e and a are front vowels. Also, and something that's sort of by default the case in most languages is that the back vowels tend to be rounded, which that's the third parameter, basically lip rounding, which kind of corresponds to F3, the third formant, but it's a little more complicated because some other things of your tongue position can also affect that. But so languages do, so by default, most languages have the back vowels are rounded and the front vowels are unrounded. Anyway, so basically the vast majority of languages around the world have like 5 or 6 vowels. That's where the peak of the distribution is, definitely. Yeah, so basically, like the sort of, what I would call the like sort of, if you know the vowels in like Spanish or Hawaiian or Japanese or Latin, like basically A, E, I, O, U, but not pronounced like that. A, E, O, U. Basically, those are a very, very common 5 set. But yes,
They're spaced out nicely, right?
yeah, basically. So a general tendency in vowel space, and its vowel space is continuous, which isn't really the case with most consonants. So, of course, for practical reasons, you kind of have to round to the nearest symbol that exists, because we can't have a symbol for everywhere in a continuous space, obviously. Yeah. So there's definitely sort of rounding going on. You can indicate, there's various diacritics you can add to be like, this is like an A, but it's a little lower, a little higher or whatever, but a little further back, a little more central. But yeah, and then so, yeah, some languages have front rounded vowels. A good example is French. It has like, that's like an E plus lip rounding. I might not be producing that great. I'm not the best at front rounded vowels, but yeah, so basically,
so you could come up with a new vowel if you wanted to, right?
I guess
pick a point in the space.
Yeah, basically it's kind of a relatively even grid through vowel space.
You mean like IPA symbols, kind of?
The symbols that exist. Yeah, sorry, that's what I mean. And yeah, generally, basically languages like to have, for however many vowel sounds they have, they like them to be as far apart as possible, to like, I guess, avoid confusion in hearing people talk, probably. I mean, it's kind of for practical reasons. So, like, you know, if you have like, let's say you had a language that had like this set of 5 at the kind of, they're kind of at the, I said it's kind of a trapezoid. So basically, U and E are at the top corners, A and O are, that's written. When I say A, it's confusing to talk about in English. It's written as a lowercase normal E, like the letter, but the sound it represents is literally the sound A, and so that's like A and O are kind of midway down the sides, and then A, like written as an A, is down at the bottom, sort of middle-ish.
How about schwa?
So schwa is like the neutral vowel, so that's right there in the middle. So if English only had 5 vowels, there'd be a good candidate to add, which would be schwa. But unfortunately, Germanic languages
Have so many
are
fucking vowels.
weird and will have like 14 vowels.
Right, so it's not English specifically, other Germanic languages.
Yeah, it's not just English. It's generally a Germanic thing that there's just a lot of vowels. And like, so in English, it's kind of like, oh man, how do you find a vowel doesn't exist in some dialect? Because English also, it's so inconsistent from dialect to dialect, like what vowels they
So
have.
it might be a bit of a tricky hunt.
Yeah, I might actually have to do research and come back next week and...
Yeah, we can talk about it more.
Okay.
And also, didn't you know a guy in college who was weird about schwa?
I didn't know him.
Sorry, meet. Encounter?
Encounter is the right word.
Encounter, okay.
There was like a guy, he wasn't a student. He was just a random middle-aged man who had come by linguistics classes and leave inexplicable pamphlets about like the letter schwa being somehow connected to God or something. I didn't really get it, to be honest with you. I think he thought linguists would be more sympathetic to it, but they weren't, because it was completely incoherent.
Nonsense, yeah. Okay.
I think he really thought he had something though. I gotta be honest, I fear for that type of guy talking to ChatGPT, God.
Yeah, that's concerning. You know what I say about that?
So true.
Uh-huh.
All right, well, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thank you
Well,
for
all right,
listening.
no, sorry. No, you will hear us next week, I guess.
No, we'll see you.
Oh, God, oh, fuck.